Saturday night at the Majestic Theatre in downtown Chillicothe. I missed this concert last year. I said when they come back again, I gotta be there, and I'm going to be. And we are happy to have with us two of the members of Brass Metropolis. They are a Chicago tribute band, and we have Dan Carioti with us, who plays the sax parts, and also we have the singer, and that is Doug Thomas. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm going to guess that you probably had some ties to Chicago as being fans at some point in time in your early careers.
Yeah, actually, I was in a band back in the mid-'70s that played at Danny Seraphine's club in Schaumburg, Illinois, called Beginnings. And there was a lot of talk. We played there for a couple weeks, and at the end of our stint there, Danny was going to produce our album. But it didn't happen. But it was pretty close to getting there, and we got to meet Danny, and I think that's the only member we met at the time. But we played at his club for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Danny, of course, was a percussionist, and all with Chicago back then. CTA, as you said. Where did your interest start, Dan?
Actually, it started when I was in middle school for a talent show. We put together a Chicago tribute band back then and did two tunes of Chicago, of course, 25 or 6 to 4 and Make Me Smile. So that's when it all started for me. I was in 7th grade.
It's fantastic. I was telling the guys before we started, my senior year in high school, we had a Chicago tribute band that played in our high school review, and we had a medley that was put together by a Capital University music major. And
nice.
He had put together, I think there were 6 songs, and for life of me, I can't remember which ones they were, but we go way back with Chicago as well. What is it about Chicago? Because they've got brass, they've got the strings involved here. They've had a long-lasting impact, more than 50 years now, and they're still going strong as well with some of the founding members.
Well, I think part of that is that they, in my opinion, they were the first rock band to have horn players who weren't just part of the arrangement or part of the production. They were actual integral members of the band as writers and players, and they were just as much rock and roll as Terry Kath on guitar or Pete Cetera on bass. And before that, horn players had always been okay, the horns are coming in at 3 o'clock to lay down their parts, but with Chicago, it was totally different. They were full members of the band.
Yeah, I think the horn section with Chicago too was probably a bit more, we'll call it cerebral, than the other stuff that was going on at the time. Definitely more advanced harmonically than some of the other stuff, and it brought a new flavor that I think really lit it up for them.
Yeah.
I think that had a lot to do with it.
And for folks our age, it brings back a lot of memories to see you guys performing the way that you are now. Yeah, I saw it took 50 years for me to see Chicago live, and saw them at Riverbend Music Center for the first time. It was during their 50th anniversary. And to see Jim Penkow be able to continue to play the way he does, Robert Lamb to play as well as he does, it's still amazing to see those founding members still part of this going strong.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I was lucky enough to play with Danny Seraphine last summer. He came over this way. We played a symphony benefit with his California Transit Authority, and I got to play in the horn section with Danny, which was a fabulous experience, and what a wonderful human being he was.
Yeah. And I know over the years they've had members come and go and everything, but still to have Lee Loughnane still a part of it, and
yes,
playing better now than he probably was when he started with the band all those years ago. But you mentioned Terry Kath, of course. Terry we lost back in the 1970s, and I know, Doug, you've got to kind of emulate some of his sound. What a voice!
Yeah.
And guitarist as well. Just
Well,
incredible talent that we lost in that time.
he was incredible. You know, it takes two of us to duplicate, you know, humbly as much of his essence as we can. But I think we do a real good job. Lake Baum, our guitar player, has really studied Terry, and of course I've studied his vocals for years and years and years, and I love to emulate him and even expound a little bit on what it was that he was doing, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
You can go to Brass Metropolis's website and get the bios of these guys and see where they've been, what your careers have been leading you up to this point. But the one thing I noticed about Luke and his guitar, it looks like Terry Kath's guitar.
It is.
It's an exact replica.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a Fender authentic. Yeah, it's a Fender authentic replica down to the most minute scratches.
It's got the same decals, the same
everything. Even, you know, like he was doing some pickup work, and he took the pickup cover off the back of the guitar. He showed me this at our last meeting, and he showed me the picture of it, and there was like gaff tape on this $20,000 guitar holding two wires together, because that's the way Terry did it on his guitar. So they reproduced it on the guitar that Lake is playing.
Lake is very fortunate to have a wealthy benefactor
Absolutely.
who indulges him and in his whims. And boy, that was when he brought that guitar to rehearsal, it was like, oh my God, you know, this is Terry's guitar.
Yeah.
You know, and
Where did you find that, right?
Yeah.
You guys were here last year about this time in Chillicothe, Ohio's first capital, and we've got a rich live performance background here. What was it like for you? Do you recall playing at the Majestic Theater? Because many of the people I've talked to from out of town and those here locally that perform there say it's a fantastic place to play.
It was very moving for me. I had done a little bit of research on the building and the venue, and you know, just to know that we're trotting the boards where Laurel and Hardy did previous, and you know, and then knowing the history of the Knights Templar or the Masons, I guess it was, that are up in the balcony there and stuff. It's just, there's just so much history, and it's just dripping with it. You know, you can just feel it, you know, in that building. There's something really, really special about that building.
Yeah. And the acoustics are out of the world as well. I mean, they're just fantastic.
Yeah. It's a very nice room to play in. It is.
Yeah. Well, we are certainly looking forward to seeing you guys come together. There's 8 of you in the band, right?
Yes.
Okay. And everybody gets along. There's no issue.
Oh, yeah. Famously. At least this week.
When you travel around a lot, you I'm sure you get on each other's nerves, but it's good to know that you come together to bring the orchestra and the feel of music all together.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, again, looking forward to seeing you guys. Thank you so much for making time for us again. There are still some tickets available. You'll go to the Majestic website to get those. We've got the scrolling information across the screen. You'll be able to see that and get your tickets there. Dom, I said Dom. Dom's one of the guys in the band too.
Yeah.
Dom is our piano player. Yes.
Piano player. Dan Carioti, along with, of course, Doug Thomas, joining us here today. Thank you so much for your time, and see Brass Metropolis this Saturday.
Come rock with us.
Right.